So we're evaluating algebraic expressions. We're going to continue with another example. Remember, the key thing is you write down what the expression is that they're asking you to plug in the values into, and then substitute those values in. So for example, if someone says a is equal to 4 and b is equal to 10, and they ask you for a squared minus b squared, that means that you substitute everywhere you see a, you put 4, everywhere you see b, you put 10. And then you put the square around it like that again. So you have 4 squared minus 10 squared. Now, what is 4 times 4? We know that's 16. And what is 10 times 10? We know that's 100. So basically, 16 minus 100 is what will take us to our destination, and that's 84. So it's important that we write down what we've been given and we substitute the values in. What will we need to be successful in this section? We need to understand the role that PEMDAS plays, knowing the order of operation, the importance of, again, order of operation. So if you have a parenthesis, so let's say we have a minus b cubed. If we have a situation like this and you have a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 4, you could substitute that 10 and that 4 in. So 10 minus 4 cubed. What is 10 minus 4? We have 6, and then it's raised to the third power, right? Now, in our Tools for Master Mathematics book, we show you a table where we give you values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to, I think, 15 or 20. And then we show you what x squared is and what x cubed is. It's important that we know our x squared definitely all the way to 12, but it's even nice if you know it all the way to 15. Not many people learn it all the way to 20, but that's something you can choose to learn if you want. So like, what is 15 times 15, 16 times 16, and so on. But then for cubes, most of the time, I would say all the way to 6 is good. If you could go up to 7, that's even better. But definitely it's a good tool to have. So if you say 6 times 6, 36, what is 36 times 6? And we say 216, right? So in this case, the answer will be 216. So write down what the expression is they're asking you. Plug in the values that they've given you for each of the letters in that expression, and then simplify. That's the key to doing this section. You're given a few more examples, and I would recommend that you look at those examples, look at how they plug in those values, and that would be a good start. Now, what is one application of this topic? One application can be found when you're using formulas, right? And for example, if someone says find the volume of a cylinder, right? So pi r squared h is the formula for the volume of a cylinder. So if you have pi r squared h, and we know that pi, we usually approximate about 3.14, and we know that r depends on what is given in the problem, and h also depends on what's given in the problem. So let's say r is 10 and h is 15. You would plug those values in. 3.14 times 10 squared times 15. So if you want to use a calculator for this, that's fine, but you can definitely work on your math skills of multiplying by hand too if you want. But in this case, remember your PEMDAS. You would have to do 3.14 times 10 times 10 times 15. So that's 3.14 times 100 times 15. Or you could just apply this 100 right away, and it becomes 314 times 15, and that will give you your answer. Again, you can multiply that by hand if you want, or you can use a calculator. So that's what is going on with this topic. You're using it with formulas. You're basically taking the values. You're given a formula and you're plugging in the values of what you've been given. Think of it like this. If you had a soccer or just a field, let's say you had a field behind your house and you're trying to find the area in that field. Let's say you're going to apply some fertilizer and you're trying to make it into a garden and you want to know what the area is. Well, the area for a rectangle is length times width. What if we know that the length is 15 and the width is 10? Now we can find the area by plugging in 15 for the length and 10 for the width. And the answer is 150, let's say, feet squared, okay? So you have this nice size field behind your house that you can use for gardening. So this is just an example of where this is used. There are a lot of problems, good problems for you to practice. Definitely, I would say number 1 to 39 odd is a good start. And if you want, you can definitely do some of the word problems. A lot of temperature problems are given here, so you can apply the principle. So if you know what the degrees in Celsius is, you can find it in Fahrenheit and so on. So we could talk about that at a different time, but definitely want you to try out number 1 to 39, and then let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next section. If you need to take more than a day to work through these problems, that's no problem at all. Just make sure that you understand how each problem works. plug in the values, and simplify. I'll say this quickly, with the absolute value before I leave. When you have the absolute value of x minus y in a particular problem, and you have x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 6, you plug in the values 3 minus 6, and you have an absolute value. The absolute value is going to make it into the positive value of that number. So you have this, which is then equal to that. So that's just an example of an absolute value one. Thank you for your time. You take care and keep up the good work.